So prior to elections, you see aspirants traveling out to Europe and America up and down. What do you think they are going for? They are going to their masters to go get help from their masters. And there are some political parties in Africa that are perpetually already tied down by colonial masters. Okay, so it is this colonial master that decide who goes next as a leader. So your own vote, you think it counts? It does not count. It's what they want that counts. And then when they go to these countries in Europe and America, they get some funds, get some aid, get some money. And these stupid leaders will think that this fund, money and aid is for free. They don't know that in return, these people will get what is more than what they had given to them. That is why our leaders at the long run sell the nation to these people. From the beginning, they are giving you that money, you think it's for free. There's nothing that is for free. What they collect at the end, it triples 10 times more than what you had given to them. But will we listen? We will not listen. The love of money, they say, is the root of all evil. So greed pushes them into going to bow to these people, and then the love of power. You see? So this is the situation we are faced with. Democracy has never helped the continent of Africa in any way. And this is a fact that cannot be disputed. I'm going to leave you with Ebo Bishop Makonga. You listen to him and leave your thoughts and opinion there at the section, Your Majesties.
So, guys, this whole thing of democracy is a smokescreen of lies. Because even in countries where they are claiming democracy, they are enjoying more freedom in Africa than we can enjoy in their own country. And I don't know why we are so much scared of dealing with the devil once and for all. And you tell this message to all my white brothers from Germany and from South Africa. If you are not careful the way you handle land, you are going to leave your children with a snake in the back. Because these young people you see here, one day when they wake up and they ask each other, where is our land? After being to Australia and they are told you are illegal immigrant. They go to America and they are told you are an alien. They go to Britain and they are told you are a foreigner. And they come back home here and they are landless. Your own children, you will turn in your grave as our children will start victimizing your children. If you are smart enough to hear a fool, start making arrangements to relinquish some of the land into the black hands, to diffuse the anger of the people. Use democracy to bribe them and be nice to them when they can still listen. Because time will come when you will want to talk and will not want to talk. You'll want to negotiate and will not want to negotiate. Maximize on time. And as far as land is concerned, gentlemen, we don't have to apologize for what rightfully belongs to us. The African does not own his land. The land owns him. From it we have come. To it we shall return. I owe my allegiance to the soil where I come from, because soil is spiritual. That's where my history is. That's where my forefathers are buried. I eat from it. I drink from it. My history is written in the land. And whoever owns my land owns my blessings. Because when it rains, God has blessed me. If I don't have access to land, I don't have access to existence. Therefore, every man must have two wives. The first wife is land. And the second wife is the one who will make children for you. If you don't have land, you don't have a right to reproduction. Because you cannot sleep with your wife on WhatsApp. You can't sleep with her on Facebook. You need an address. You need an address. Land. Land is the address that legitimizes even making children. That's why when lions walk around the bush, they lift up their legs and they mark their territories. And after they've marked their territories, then they start reproducing. Are animals now better than us? That we fail to have access to our own spaces so that we can reproduce after our own selves. I challenge SWAPO to deal with land issues violently. Take off those bloody gloves. Get down to business. But be strategic, be thoughtful, be mindful, be future-seeing, and put strategies that will work. But no matter how long you wait, sweet talking around land it will boil down to one thing: who will ultimately be the owner of the land? So I would want to respect that by policy. Let's keep the land as state land. Let people lease it from us as they work. And let us constantly be in control, because this is one of the only assets that we have as a nation. And sooner or later we must discover who is our enemy and who is our friends. This is how I want you to think. This is how I want you to feel. This is how I want you to do. You guys went to war. And you did not go to war to fight for democracy. We didn't go to war so that we wanted to share toilets. No, we can build our own toilets. We went to war because we wanted to restore land. Number one. We wanted power away from those that were oppressing us and to have it to ourselves. I'm talking this as a Pan-Africanist. This has been the weakness of all African governments, all of them. They went to war to fight for land. When they were there, they started organizing governments and they made themselves the kings while they were at war. And when they came back, they assumed the instruments of colonial power systems, and they started to become the drivers of the same system which had oppressed them. I'm not mixing my words. So we came back with presidents when we went to war with kings. And when they came back, they sat on the same chair that the colonialist was sitting. They became the ministers of health to manage the same health system, ministers of education to manage the same education system, ministers of water to manage the same water policies. Even as we speak today, we still have the red line zones in Namibia where goods cannot move freely. In a country we call a country, but you cannot cross over with the avocados and beef. You cannot cross this line. And you sit back and say, who drew this line? A bunch of some Boers and German guys who said, no, if you allow goods from the north to come down here, then the businesses of the south will die. We are the monopoly holders of business in Windhoek. You can't allow cheap things from the north to come, and those red lines are still there. And we talk about manifestos, we talk about policy change, and yet the devil in the room still looks at us. And to tamper with it, we all want to tiptoe and put golden gloves when we begin to talk about these real issues that matter. Right now we have slogans as Pan-Africanism, Pan-Africanism. Some of us even think that we can still make democracy work. It does not work. It has not worked. We don't need democracy. We need dictators who dictate the right thing. Our governance was thrown through the window. Why am I saying this? You need to know how the system was structured, so that when you are decolonizing it, you know how to reconstruct it. Right now we have slogans as Pan-Africanism, Pan-Africanism. Some of us even think that we can still make democracy work. It does not work. It has not worked. We don't need democracy. We need dictators who dictate the right thing. I mean, you have a toilet that is dysfunctional, then you must have a committee that discusses the toilet, then a subcommittee that discusses the toilet, then a requisition committee and a procurement committee. Then we must have a tendering system. After the tendering system, 16 months later, we are still waiting for, just damn you, fix the toilet. Democracy is a colonized way that stifles progress and development.
Democracy has never worked, like you said, in Africa, and we have been singing it has never worked. The juntas are producing more results. I'm not interested in how you get the power. I'm interested in how you get the job done. Whether you enter there through the window, if the job is being done, that's what's more important. Because if you want to coin this thing called democracy, it's an agenda set up in Africa to make the West constantly be in control of Africa. African Development Bank, 50% of its resources is from the US. AU, Israel has a seat in AU. We don't even know where European Parliament is found. No, we don't even know where it is found. I say the Europeans have seats in the EU. Israel has a seat in the EU. Where is Africans within the European and the Israeli circle? Nowhere to be found. So it tells you that we don't know what we do. We don't know what to do. They are the ones who come to tell us what to do. You are telling me that somebody has been in leadership for 40 years, they does not know what to do. They are still telling him. And the person who is telling him what to do is like a son to him. That means younger children who have come into leadership are guiding parents who have been in leadership for 40 years. Is that not an improper fraction if you want to weigh it on fraction? That a child who came to power yesterday is the one counseling you who has been in power for 40 years. Something is wrong. So the reason why I say we should allow this new trend of leadership to prove to us that we have failed for 60 years, the better. It's the truth. These young guys in Burkina Faso, in Niger and Mali, they are proving to us that how you come to power is not as important as what you do with power. Because they will tell us democratically elected. It sounds like good English. The English doesn't help us. We don't want democratically elected as per se. We want people who can get the job done. And if at all a leader comes that is getting the job done, how he came to power should not be the focus. It should be what he's doing with the power. Because our so-called democratically elected presidents have been given power for many years and there is nothing substantial that has come out of it. So what do you want in the village? Do you want a king that is going to change the community, or you want a king that came from the loins of kings? Because another witchcraft in Africa is that we must look for somebody that comes from the loins of the king, even if the person is a dunce. We should allow him to sit in the place of responsibility, which is not correct. I think we should look for people who are competent to get the job done. You are going to call Paul Kagame a dictator. As long as he's getting that job done, he's not a dictator. To me, he's a developer. You are going to call Ibrahim Traore, or you call Asimi Goita, they say he has banned political parties. It is not very nice grammar. It is democratically wrong to ban political parties. Since they had democracy, since 1960 till date, what did they do? What has it done to them? So it is important. The Africa, now my point of emphasis here today is that the Africa that was in 1960, that had some of those people who did not know left from right. This is a new Africa. The level of awareness, like Mr. Sakwe said, he said they will meet Africa economically the same. They may meet them infrastructurally the same. They may meet them politically the same, but they will never meet them the same in terms of ideology. Because the campaign and the awareness right now in Africa has become a very dangerous zone. If it were to be in the past, a man like Traore would have been kicked out of the picture. Asimi Goita out of the picture because the people were not aware. This level of prolongation for him to still be in power now tells you that the same people that existed in the days of Sankara are not the same people who are in the days of Ibrahim Traore. Because it was a walkover to eliminate Sankara. But it's becoming a bit difficult and very, very hard for them to penetrate Traore. This is because in the past, the oppressor used the oppressed to kick liberators. This time around, it is the oppressed using the liberator to kick out the oppressor. So it's not going to be easy anymore. That's the reason if you watch the comment on BBC on social media, only Africans responded on it. The insult, I'm sure they are supposed to block that comment because Africans fell on it for the very first time in my life. And then the advent of the social media also, things are not done in the hiding. Things are done now in public, and there's a kind of campaign all over the continent, as a matter of fact across the globe. Because when people came out to march for Traore, people marched not only in Burkina Faso, but Sankara was killed in Burkina Faso, there was no news anywhere. Gaddafi was killed in Libya, there was no news anywhere. Samora Machel eliminated in Mozambique, there was no news anywhere. Nkrumah was kicked out of Ghana, there was no news anywhere. So if you keep following Ahmed Bembela of Nigeria, they will kick. But look at a young man who is being tossed in an era where there is awareness. So people died in those days because the masses that were supposed to protect them were not aware. I'm sure so much hygiene has taken place in Africa as far as decolonizing the minds of the African is concerned. As Ali Maziru in his book said, that we need to decolonize the mind. And I'm sure that that decolonization has taken place because social media has spread messages in areas people were very blind. I have come out from this platform and somebody come and said, now my eye don't open, no. Because why? The media, mainstream, social media has been a platform through which the right information is sent to the people. Do you know that when Nkrumah died, all his write-ups and his books were burnt and banned? Because he wrote philosophies in those books that if Africans had consumed, they would have had this revolution. But unfortunately, Africans are not the reading type, but they can easily listen. That's the reason why, since the advent of the social media, we have now people who are pumping the truth everywhere. The wind is blowing almost everywhere. If you look at it critically, the awareness of Pan-Africanism now is far more heavier than ever before. That's why you cannot just suddenly come to Africa and snatch our own. Do you know what it means for Gambians, Zambians, Mozambicans, South Africans, Americans to be marching for Ibrahim Traore? It's a whole ball game, totally different. It tells you that even the last man standing in the street of Ouagadougou is now conscious that we are not ready to trade another Sankara for Blaise Compaoré.
Okay.